Hello everyone, I'm Fyer-Huné. This is Creatives Through COVID, and I have Naomi here, who's from Avanti, which I'd like to add that I've put in a lot of job applications through for many years. Never got a job, but now I know more about what you all do, and I'm so excited. She's a development producer, and well, from our conversation, just and much, much more. So take it away, Naomi.
Yeah, so I'm Naomi and I am a producer at Avanti Media. I'm across productions and development. My main passion is development, but I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. Yeah.
So what do these jobs like entail and stuff? So what sort of stuff to do in your day-to-day job?
So I'd say in development, it's all about just being inspired constantly by anything that you read, people that you talk to. So I come up with an insane amount of ideas and then working out where to place them, where to pitch them that meets a channel's needs in the current environment. So it's you're looking out for certain things. So the main thing that I try to keep is being inspired 24/7, which can be quite exhausting if you want some just to switch your brain off, really. But then at the moment, producing a series, which is at the moment just casting it. I do a lot of casting. I've been doing various productions in the last few months, finding incredible contributors, really. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing at the moment with my job, but it changes every day.
What's been your favourite role, like from all the roles that you've done?
Development producer, assistant producer, even researcher. I just love development, which is I find quite funny because when you go into television, people never say they want to work in development. So, and it's because, or when you're growing up, people don't think, oh, I really want to work in development, because it's such like a mystery of a job that people don't know about it. They know about directors and producers and editors and camera people, but it's not really widely known that there's this kind of back bit of a company that doesn't get paid for. It's complete investment. Nobody pays for a program until it's commissioned, so it's kind of a huge investment for a company, which is why you have to have the best people in that role. But it's quite good when I tell people about development, because people don't know about it, and people straight away start telling you ideas that they have, and that's what I like about it, is there's kind of this little hidden secret. But it's so rewarding. It's really fast paced. It's really intense. And yeah, development is kind of what I love doing.
So with the word development, because I'm trying to think of it now, because I didn't even know this role. Like I work in a software company, we have development there, but I didn't know with this. So is that where the inspiration comes from? Are you like sort of the drawing board?
Yes. Yeah, basically we've got to think as a company, what kind of programs do we want to make? You don't just get given programs to make. You have to pitch for them, or you win tenders. So we won the Songs of Praise tender about 4 years ago, where you kind of pitch to take it over. But other than that, to keep your own intellectual property, to be able to sell programs internationally, you have to come up with your own ideas. And to make them beneficial for the company, series are better than one-offs. But if it's a reputational documentary, then that's amazing, because you can sell that as well, and create a bit of noise, really. So development is all about thinking about what programs do you want your company to be making, what programs should your company be making, depending on the pedigree that what is the company good at doing. So that's it, really. It's ideas. It's just an ideas factory, and it's just, I'd say, it's relentless. You have to be incredibly thick-skinned to work there, because 99% of the ideas that you come up with won't ever go anywhere. It's a tiny percentage of the things that get commissioned and actually be fruitful. So you kind of have to be quite thick-skinned, but it's a challenge, so it's good.
So how do you get your ideas?
Anywhere and anything, really. It's keeping your eyes open all the time. My favourite things, which have been really fruitful, is local newspapers, which my boyfriend finds hilarious because every time we go to a random place, I always pick up a really obscure and local newspaper and find the most amazing stories there. And you can build it into a format, or you can build it into an observational documentary, or even just a short form thing. There's always something. If you're excited by something, then there's something in there. And then I read the news constantly, but kind of different papers. I probably do it about 5 times a day, just checking in to make sure that there's nothing that really stands out. Trends, things that my friends are talking about, things are being shared. It's always keeping your eyes open when you're out or in the shop. Great characters. If you're on holiday and a hotel owner's a great character, it's everywhere. TV is around you, so it's kind of finding those gems and making them into a program, really.
God, this sounds amazing. And I didn't even know this role existed. That's when there needs more education on this sort of stuff in there, because that's in. So, what's your favourite thing that you've come up with and that has been commissioned?
I'd say probably my favourite thing is probably what I'm working on producing at the moment. It was my idea originally. It's called Car Treasure Hunt, and we're making it for S4C. We did a pilot that broadcast at Christmas, and we were commissioned 3 for this year, but because of the coronavirus and there's a shortage of programs, they've asked us to make 6 instead. So that's great for us, but it's kind of, we're having to cram double the amount in, just the same amount of time. But it's great. And I really love that idea. It's essentially a car treasure hunt. It's a real thing that's happening all around the country in rural areas, where it's just people get in cars and go from. But we have added kind of format points on top of it where people get out the car and do challenges. So it's kind of really fun, really feel good, really family viewing. Not really my cup of tea, because I like really gritty documentaries, but I love the fact that it's something I've come up with. I've developed it for a very long time, got it commissioned, and now it's become a series, and now I'm producing it. So it's kind of the full package where I've really felt like, this is mine kind of thing. So I'd probably say that was that's my favorite thing at the moment. It's hard because I've worked on so many different things, so it's kind of trying to figure out what was my favorite. But I'd probably say that has been my career highlight to this point, really.
That's it sounds good. It's like, I'm a bit like you. I love documentaries. Oh, that's what I love making as well. Love it. So, but it still sounds really, really nice. So, talking about your career, how did you get into all of this?
So basically, I was dead set on going to London, 100%. So I'm from Cardiff, and I wanted to go to London, just the next biggest city, really. And I wanted to do music and drama. I really wanted to be on the West End, which is hilarious now looking back. But it was the recession at the time that I went to university, so I was pushed to do something that I would get a degree in afterwards. So I thought, okay, I'll look at media, although I'd never kind of touched it before. I just thought, if I'm in London, I can pursue my dreams, and I can and I was interested in journalism. I was interested in being potentially a correspondent in front of the screen kind of thing. But then when I started doing it, because I did media and communications at Goldsmiths, I just fell in love with it. And it was just because I was just given a camera and just said, off you go kind of thing. So then after I'd graduated, I kind of worked really hard just to get commissions, basically, from London for Avanti. And then when I landed a few, I worked in London then for 7 years in the London office for Avanti. And then about, I think it might be a year and a half ago, then I'd come back to Cardiff. Because actually at the moment there's a big boom of regional companies. The commissioners and channels want to commission from the region. So being in Wales is a lot more beneficial for me. So it's actually a bit of, I fell into TV by accident, really. But I love it because it wasn't the path I intended to take. And I've got all these different passions, which isn't what I intended my job was going to be. But I had no idea what I wanted to be with, and I still a bit open because I really wanted to be a director, but then I'm a producer at the moment. I really wanted to do development, but then I'm in production at the moment, and then I love editing, and I don't really like filming that much, but I'm quite good at it. So it's kind of I still don't really know, but we'll see what happens.
You don't need to know, because like you said, you're so young that you could do whatever you want. So what is your next step? What would you like to push yourself to do at some point?
So I think in terms of my productions, I'm doing really well. I cast produce most of our programs that we make. In terms, we've just done Life Drawing Live for BBC4. I'm now going on to Dark Skies Live for S4C that I'll cast produce. So in terms of, and I'm producing obviously the Car Treasure Hunt. So in terms of production, I'm quite happy. But I'm developing quite quickly there. But in terms of development, you're always looking for that next big thing, really, and you want to be the person that comes up with Great British Bake Off or Gogglebox. You want to be that person, although it's always a team that does it, and people don't realize you want to have that program that will outlive you, basically, which I think is my main goal. Just to get a returnable series that is really exciting, that probably feels really fresh, really new, really exciting, and I feel it's within me. I just need to kind of find out what it is.
Oh man, I'm excited for this. It's gonna be like, have you got any ideas taken the day?
Me?
Yeah,
hundreds, millions. But it's all about waiting for the right time, and trying to and developing it all the time, you're constantly thinking about how to take that idea further. But it's really rare to find that kind of amazing one, really rare. So I'll probably find one in my lifetime, just to that will change my life, probably. So we'll see.
I definitely believe that you will, because you've got such a good vibe about you that it's going to happen one day. You're just going to sit there and it's going to be a light bulb effect. You know what I mean? It's brilliant. So
I hope so.
Just talking about good stuff, bad stuff, well, good stuff. And what would you say is the most hardest thing about your job?
The hardest thing about my job, I'd say, what I've struggled with mainly is I'm primarily self-taught. I know you're surrounded by people um, that inspire you, or that show you, how they do things. But TV is a bit of an enigma, where there's not really one way of doing things. So you've kind of got to find your own style and find your own way of doing things. Which because I've got that hunger, I can cope with it in the way that I'll find out how to do something if I don't know how to do it. And, I do have a specific style in the way I design treatments, or the way that I edit things. And people know that it was me that's done that, which is great. But the hardest thing is finding somebody who can support you, or who can mentor you in that way. I know there's schemes and things like that, but I've never been in a position where I've been able to have that. And I think, TV is so intense, and it's so hard. It's so hard that I think sometimes it helps to have somebody that that can help you along in your journey. And I've worked with so many very, TV is full of big personalities and egos, that you probably find not so nice people more than nice people. But and people are very set in their roles as well, which I think that's changing with our generation. The next generation is that people are a lot more multi-skilled. So it's TV is changing all the time, but it's about finding somebody that can help you on your journey. I think that's, and because it's so intense, mental health is a huge thing, that you're working all the time. At certain times of in your career, they're just finding somebody that will support you and just look out for you. That I think it can be very lonely. TV can be really, really lonely. So I think it's kind of how your job affects you and your personal life, and your personal development. I think that's the hard thing about TV.
No, that's a really, really good point. That is really, really good. That the mentoring, everyone needs mentoring, even if you're the top of your game.
Yeah.
There's always something you can do different, or you can have help with. So maybe that's what they need to focus on, when you could even do something on that.
Yeah. No, I am hoping, and I'm now getting to the level where I am managing quite big teams and people and stuff, and I'm it's such a thing that's on the forefront of my mind, is that I make sure that I treat people differently to the way that I've been treated, in the way that I actually care for them. I actually want them to develop. I want them to be the best they can be. And you can tell the people that want to learn and the people that want to like go somewhere. So I've taken that on board on something that I am quite passionate about. And I think TV will change in that way as well, hopefully.
What would you say, as talking about mentoring, what would you say is out there to help people who want to get into the industry?
It's a tough one, because you don't necessarily need a degree. You just need passion, and you need to, more than anything, know the skills really. And as I said, that it's all about, you can teach yourself to do everything. I've done it. Most people do these days. You can go on courses and stuff, which is great. But it's all about developing yourself to be this amazing package and I think then you're quite hard to turn down, really. It's kind of, I've just hired somebody that she can design treatments on. She's amazing at Adobe Creative Cloud, basically, and she can edit as well on there. She films weddings and edits in her free time. Well, that to me just makes me feel like, oh, that's great, because that means that I can give some work over to you, kind of thing. Somebody else that can kind of that will take your workload, where I'd rather that than somebody who doesn't have those skills, really. So it's kind of making sure that you're just, you're really scrubbed up with, and really know your stuff. Passionate about television. You watch television. Most people don't watch television, and I think that's insane, because, and I'm all for things like Netflix and Amazon. I watch that probably more than television, but you can't work in telly unless you understand telly back to front. So it's about completely engrossing yourself in this world. And only the people that really want it will get it. It's kind of, it's really hard to get to where you want to be in television, but with hard work, you get there.
Brilliant. That's good passion, and basically just scrub up and do your research and stuff, which is a fair enough point.
I mean, I think it's also because I was scared at the beginning that, oh, I need to do this and I need to do this, or somebody needs to teach me this, or somebody needs to teach me this. Like, it's not about that. It's about like keeping calm and just reading up about it a little bit every day, watching YouTube tutorials, keep a notebook of kind of things that you've kind of learned along the way. It's a personal thing, rather than being like, it's not a quick fix, basically. It's kind of chipping away to be the best that you can be, and eventually you'll go into an interview and you'll feel a lot more confident, because you can back yourself up, really.
Brilliant. No, I think that's really, really good points. Like, because you're giving me ideas as well, as well as that's a really, really good point.
Yeah.
Just a notebook and just noting down some ideas and what you learn. Brilliant idea. I'm going to start doing that. How are you coping through COVID?
Honestly, I've never worked so hard in my life than in the last few months. It's been insane, and I think because I'm across production and development, probably when usually you would have different people for those roles, I've kind of been busier than most anyway. But it's about adapting what you're doing to the current environment. We've been very successful in the way that every production that we've been able to keep on to, if not get more work from them. So it's kind of working out how we can do it safely. So you really need to be scrubbed up on health and safety and government regulations and things like that. And so I'm learning things I never thought I would, but it's really exciting, because I went on a shoot. We did Life Drawing Live last week, I think it was, and it was the first time I've actually seen people for a very long time, and it was so nice that actually and people think that obviously you've got your key workers, but public service broadcasting is so crucial to people at the moment to keep the nation's spirits up. So people tend to think, oh, it's just TV. Well, actually it's keeping a lot of people going at the moment. So.
That's really, really good point. I'm not even joking. I didn't even think about that, and now I do. I'm like, without these people, a lot of people would have been suffering more than they already have, because I remember we didn't have internet for a weekend because of everything just shutting down, and it was like, oh my god, gotta talk to each other. Yeah. And you don't think it's that big a deal, but it really, really is. That's So yeah, you are a key worker. You'll keep people going. You're helping mental health in different ways. So thank you very much.
It's okay, but it's in development, coming up with programs, because we don't know what's going to happen, and things are probably not going to change, or go back to normal for a long time. So it's about how can we pitch programs as well that we can make in the current environment, which isn't just things online. Like, everybody's getting a bit sick of programs where you just see people on calls. What's the new program that you'd have been able to pitch before coronavirus, but you can still do at the moment. Do you know what I mean? So it's really, really testing to think about things completely differently. And this is the first time that I've ever experienced anything obviously like this. So it's probably the biggest test for the company, biggest test for me personally, and it's going well, but a lot of companies won't be so successful, and it's because it's probably the biggest test that we've ever had to face. So
it really is. I mean, none of us could prepare for this, could we? It's just something that was not on our radar at all.
no.
Like, I think probably a world war was probably more on the radar than than this. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Talking about the company, do you want to give us a little bit of a whistle stop tour of Avanti?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Avanti is a Welsh company. It's been going for about 30 years. We primarily make factual or entertainment programs, and they're quite pioneers in event programming. So and music. The company started off doing a lot of music documentaries, which then went into live events, which then taps us into talent. So we work a lot with talent, and through that, then we can take them off to do documentaries or present things. So it's factual entertainment and events is what we do. Being Welsh is a huge asset. We do have an office up in Manchester that does songs of praise, but again, that's regional. Yeah.
Lovely crew.
Yeah, have you? Oh, yeah, they are nice. Yeah. So it's that. Yeah, that's Avanti, and I think we've got a great team there. It's a family-run business. It's really it's a lot less corporate than a lot of big conglomerates in television. And people actually do look out for each other, which is nice. And I think it's about we really look out for people that can bring something different to Avanti in terms of a fresh outlook, different technology, something that's really exciting, because Avanti is just going from strength to strength, I think, especially at the moment. So.
Brilliant. That is such good news. Honestly, through these series, I keep on saying this, but some people are struggling, and then some people are just absolutely climbing that mountain and putting the flag on top, like, I'm here. Do you know what I mean? It's brilliant.
Yeah, and I thought we would be in a really bad place, and there's times that we have thought that, when we're just not getting. We've pitched, I'd say, hundreds and hundreds of ideas in the last 2 months, and just not really got anywhere. But it's about making that statement to commissioners and channels as well, that you're like, we want to do this, we're ready to do this, yes, we're thinking about things. So it's like, and a lot of other companies aren't doing that, so it's like, oh, wait until the storm is over, kind of thing. So it's all about how you react in a crisis, really, and it's not easy, but it's good at the moment. I don't know about in a month's time or 2 months time, but hopefully it'll be all right then. We'll take each day as it comes.
Hey, positivity, I'm feeling the positive vibes. Let's not think bad at all. But we've done all my questions. All I wanted to end on is, have you got any advice, like your top advice that you give people?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about, if you set on want to work in a creative industry, then it's all about making sure you're as inspired as possible by everything around you. I think at the moment that's my biggest challenge, is when I'm just confined to a house. I'm not hearing things on the radio on the way to work. I'm not here drunken conversations on a night out. I'm not around normal life anymore, and I think that's the hardest thing. And it's about drilling down into who you are, and thinking, how can I better myself, or develop personally, to be where I need to be. And this is actually the perfect time to do that. People do have time where the world has slowed down, and it's actually a great opportunity to think, where am I going to go and how am I going to do it? And it's all about skills, inspiration, and passion, which I sound so lame saying, but it is.
Like, no, don't. People keep on saying this to me. Oh, it sounds so cliche. No, I've asked you for your advice. If that's your advice, then you bloody preach it. Do you know what I mean? I'm listening.
Yeah, and I think it's because I've come across people who just don't have those, and I'm just like, well, why do you want to do it then? If you don't have, if you're not inspired, if you don't have passion, and if you don't have the skills to back it up, then I can't promise you there's a place in this industry for you, because you might as well find something else that you're passionate about. Life is too short. You've got to. No one's going to give it to you. You've got to get it yourself somehow.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's brilliant. I mean, don't ever go, oh, it sounds lame. No, it doesn't. If that's what you live by, how is that lame? And look where you are right now. Definitely not lame. So
Thank you.
I'm definitely going to take a leaf out of your book. Do you know what I mean? So thank you. Naomi, thank you so much. You've inspired me. You're going to inspire a lot of people. And I'm hoping one day I might work with Avanti. One
I
day.
know, it would be great. It'd be great to meet you in person after all of this, and then we can talk about what you like doing. So that would be nice.
That would be brilliant. I mean, one day we'll be allowed out.
Hopefully, yeah.
Probably after Christmas at this rate.
Yeah. That's all right. I like Christmas, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. But thank you so much for your time.